It is Tuesday, July 3rd, 6:07 p.m., 30 degrees outside, it feels like 32. Definitely hot outside. Yesterday we did our dinner, it was good. I beat Doom, had like 4 hours left of it from when I last installed last year, so that was nice. Overall it's okay, I guess. Played some Talos Principle, which is really fun. It's like a really interesting puzzle game, which I'm really enjoying. I played some more of it today. It's getting harder and harder, so I don't want to YouTube I want to figure out on my own. I don't want to YouTube the answers, so we'll see how far I can get. Also, on my foot today, I don't know. I think I stepped on something, or it's something happening. I don't really know, but on the bottom of my foot, it kind of feels like there's a pimple or something, and when I walk, it like hurts or something stabbing me. But there's nothing in my foot. Nothing really. I don't know. It feels like there's a bump when I walk. When I feel my foot, it's like flat and like it's just a little red dot. So I don't really know what's happening there, but hopefully that goes away. So today what I want to talk about is something that I had on my list of things to talk about since I started doing these vlogs this year, and it's something that's kind of very sensitive or personal. And I was kind of putting it off, and I want to take my time with it. But today what I want to talk about is what I learned in therapy. So let's go back to January of 2016. I was in therapy until about, I think, June or July of 2016. And I started by seeing 3 people. I saw them each one time. One of them was just like, it was like a walk-in for one of the counseling services we have in town. And she was, I guess it was kind of helpful, whatever, but it wasn't anything permanent. That organization, whatever, I was on their wait list, but by the time I would have gotten in, it was like April or May when they called me. So I was already kind of upwards at that point, getting out of depression. So that wasn't really going to help. The other 2 people I saw were very expensive, and I didn't really connect with them, so it sucked. So that was annoying. But like I said, also very expensive. So if I wanted, it was like $100 each. So if I wanted to go see them consistently, it would have been like anywhere from $100 to $200 a month, because I definitely would have not have seen them every week, because that was expensive. But the last person I saw was a guy named Seth, and he was with a company who did counseling services, and they were cheap. They're like, I guess they were city funded or something like that. So like $30 every time I went to go see him, which was nice. And I remember the very first day I was with him, I immediately knew he was the right guy for me, because he's like, so why are you here? And I told him why I was there, and he immediately called bullshit. He's like, no, if you were here for that reason, you would have been here months ago. So you're here, I think you're here because of this. And I was like, you're absolutely right. That is correct. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's absolutely right. That's why I'm here. He's right. So he called me on my bullshit immediately, and that's kind of the way he was throughout our entire time. He didn't, like if I said something dumb, he wouldn't just like coddle, like the other people. I felt like they always were coddling me and just telling me what I wanted to hear, and that's okay, I guess. But like he did that sometimes, but like his intention was to help me. So if he needed to give me tough love and tell me something that I may not want to or be ready to hear, he would just say it. And maybe that's not the most effective way, but for me it works amazingly, because it's like I felt connected. Like I felt like literally I told him one time, I was like, the first time I met you, I felt like you literally hated me. Like I don't know, that I felt like that was a good thing. So I ended up staying with him. Unfortunately, he was on a contract, and I guess that place does summers. So I was gonna go see him again in September of that year, but he never ended up re-signing his contract, so I never got to actually say thank you or tell him kind of how things are working out. But he was awesome, because especially one time, like especially early on, for example, like I think they had like a policy where it wasn't like super enforced. It was like, typically we don't see people, we only see people like every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, something like that. And I was like, dude, I can't, I'm in such a bad spot. I need to see you like weekly. At least like, I need to, please. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. It's kind of our policy. And so I was really annoyed at that point. I was like, I think I need to go see someone else, because like I need to see someone every week. And then literally the end of that day, he called me. He's like, hey, so I actually have something next week. If you want to come in, I'd be happy to see you. And like, he was super accommodating and just really helpful. And it was literally like, he helped me through the worst time of my life. So I'm very thankful to him for that. But there's 2 things that I learned in particular from him. And the first is perspective, and how important perspective is. And basically, I'll summarize kind of how it is now. It's or I guess at the time, so I'll just summarize it. So basically, when I was depressed, he basically said, okay, now like, you see it from your point of view, but now look at it from the point of view of a friend. Like, let's say a friend was telling you the same thing you're telling me, right? Like, what would you say to that friend? So my friend is saying what I I was depressed and saying that stuff, and I was like, well, I mean, I'd probably say something else. I'd probably have like a different interpretation. It's okay, you know, now how about a parent? Or how about like an even closer friend? Or how about think about someone who literally you've never met. Like think of this hypothetical person you had who you've never met, who has either bigger or smaller problems than you. Not to negate your feelings, because you know your problems are real, and to you they're either big or small. But I mean, it's perspective. So it could be worse, it could be better, whatever. And it's like that perspective really helped me, because it was like, okay, like, yeah, like I'm in a shitty situation, but it could be worse. I mean, I could, you know, I don't know. I'm in therapy trying to get better, so you know, I'm on the right path. And he kind of started that when I was talking about, like, I was going on walks a lot at that time. I started looking up in space and kind of really just admiring everything that was space and kind of my place in the world, and that also kind of fed in the perspective. And I was like, you know, it's like we're on this little ball, and it doesn't. In the universe, none of this matters, but like to us, it does matter, right? And that whole kind of perspective angle, he's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, on the grand scheme of things, on a universal scale, we're insignificant. We're not even molecules, really. It's hard to see us. We're insignificant, but on this planet, we're so much bigger. We're so much more important. And that kind of perspective has really helped me, because it's helped me in terms of not only my emotions when I'm feeling a certain way. I kind of try to put it into perspective as to like, okay, well, why am I upset? Why am I feeling this way? How would someone else feel if they felt like this? What would I say to myself if I was the person trying to give advice? And it's like, these things really have helped me. But where was I going with this? Oh boy. So I was talking about how I wanted to, I don't know. So yeah, basically perspective has really helped me. Oh, that's where I was going. Yes. So even just things that aren't related to my emotions, like for example, someone likes something that I don't know about. Like for example, let's just use me. So I think I talked about a video a while ago that I like playing WoW on the weekends, or I like playing video games in general on the weekend. That's how I like to spend my weekend. And to some people, they don't understand that. They don't get that. They think that's super weird, or they just don't care. They're like, that's dumb. Like, you're a nerd. Go outside. For whatever reason. And like, I hear things like that, and I'll be like, okay, well, hold on. Before I kind of react, let's kind of put this in perspective. Like, for example, someone who told me that who was like in their 40s and they didn't grow up with video games. They never played video games. They grew up in country and you know, going outside a lot and doing all this stuff. So to them, that's an odd concept, right? I understand that. So it's like, I get where they're coming from. So it's like, I'm always getting this kind of new perspective on people's opinions and what they think of me and stuff. And then I do that to other people. Like for example, someone wears something that I don't get, or does something that I don't get, or just enjoys something that I don't get. I don't instinctively just jump to a conclusion about them. I think about it. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, are they hurting anyone? No. Does it matter really to me? No. Well, it's okay. So like, so basically, in a sense, this perspective has really kind of calmed me down and kind of chilled me out in terms of like my judgmental side. I try not to be as judgmental anymore, because like, it's everyone is just kind of living their own thing and doing their own thing, and it's like, I don't know. It's the perspective. I don't know how much of that how relevant that is in terms of that, but like, I don't know, it's that the perspective side of things has really helped me out. That's one of the most important things I learned from him, and probably the thing I'll carry forward the most. And that's something that I've used to try to help other people going through things, to kind of remind them of perspective and how important it is. And even in the sense of perspective in terms of future and past tense and present tense, it's like, okay, well, in the past I was happy and now I'm sad. It's like perspective. It's like you have this spectrum of emotions. You need to understand that. So perspective is definitely one of, if not the most important thing I learned, and probably the thing that really helped me the most get out of my depression. I just bit my tongue there. And the other thing that I learned was to list off 3 good things. Every day before I go to bed, I'll think of 3 good things that happened in the day, or just anything. And I remember when he started this, he said that you might not think it's going to work, you might not be able to think of anything or anything big, but just do it. It can be something simple as, I woke up today on time. My hair looked good today. The shower was nice and warm today. You know, I don't know, just something very simple. And eventually he said that you're going to notice that not only are you going to start listing more important things, like for example, today I was a little less depressed. Today I was able to do something that my depression was not letting me do before. Not only will be listing more important things, but you'll be listing more things. Not just 3, because sometimes you're saying, like, at first it might be hard to list even 2 things. That's fine. But eventually they'll start listing more and more things. And on top of that, it'll be something that you'll start listing quicker. Because at first, you're gonna have to really think about it. But then eventually it's gonna get to the point, and he was right. Eventually I got to a point where I was listing just big, small, didn't matter. I was just listing stuff off, and there was so many things I was listing off. And some days, yeah, it's literally just, I wasn't too tired today. I listened to a lot of music. I got a lot of stuff done, whatever. So, and other days it's a lot bigger than that, and it's such a nice feeling, because what that did essentially was, for at least a part of my day, it made me focus on positivity, because I was in such a negative space and so surrounded by negativity that one brief minute even in bed before I fell asleep thinking positivity really helped, because it was just a little bit of positivity, and every day kind of stacked up, and eventually got to a point where I started noticing myself picking parts of positivity in my day and noticing them as they're happening. So I'd eat it. Okay, I thought my vlog ran out of battery, but I'm actually 20%. I ran out of battery. I thought my vlog stopped, so that's why I got a little depressed there. Good thing this stopped. It might though, so I'm trying to speed this up. So I would start noticing that, I'd have a really good meal, and in that moment I'd be like, okay, well, I'm having a really good meal. This is a good thing that's happening today. Or I would notice that I'm feeling good at that specific moment. I think I'm feeling good right now, and then I would start notice that as it's happening, but also list it at the end of the day. So all of a sudden, not only did I have positivity at the end of the day, but I was having positivity mixed in throughout the day itself, and that was really something that kind of snowballed into me feeling more and more positive as the days went on. And that's something that really, I honestly thought that it was the most stupid thing. I was like, I'm just gonna do this whatever for like a week, for like 2 weeks, whatever, till I next see him. And it really started to work and really started helping me, and I still do it to this day. Not a single day has gone by. Well, maybe a couple that I forgot, but I do it every single night, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I just continuously list good things, and even in the days when I felt like crap, I always find something positive, even if it's small, even if it's I wasn't too tired today, or dinner was fine. Those are all things that count. So those are things that I learned in therapy. Like I said, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do was get out of depression, and I think I had the best person lined up for it to help me with that. And so I'm so thankful for him helping me, Seth, and I'm so thankful for the things that I took away from that. I took away so much more, but those are the 2 big things I learned in therapy. And I think that I'm a better person than I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. I think that I'm continuously becoming a better person, and I'm really happy about that. And I hope that one day I can kind of look back and confirm that to myself that, yes, Mike, you were a better person. Hopefully, Mike, when you're watching this in the future, you are a better person. You continue to do these things, because don't ever forget what you felt like at your lowest, because that sucked. That really sucks. And you remember that. You remember writing in your diary, dude. You remember writing, don't ever do this again, or something like that. And how much it sucked and how much you were crying on that day. So just don't treat yourself shitty, and don't treat people shitty. But those are the things I learned. This was a topic that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I was gonna do this in the forest, but then I got like, I don't know, they're gonna see me with this, they might rob me, I don't know, I was super sketched out about stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna go and continue the day, but finally glad that I've gotten that off my chest and kind of shared it. Yeah, therapy worked for me, and it was the best thing, one of the best decisions I ever made. And like I said, I learned so much from such a great person, and a lot of things to help myself moving forward. So anyway, most likely to talk to you tomorrow. If I don't, in the future, see ya. This button isn't great.